They say history remembers the victors. But what about those who defied fate, bled for their land, and fought till their last breath? Who was Rana Sanga, a fool who trusted too much, or the bravest warrior Rajputana has ever seen? Sangram Singh Sisodia, better known as Rana Sanga, was never destined for an easy path. After a brutal power struggle, he became the king of Mewar. Under his rule, Mewar reached its golden age. But wait, if he was so powerful, why do we not speak of his victories today? For centuries, India remained divided. Rajputs fought Rajputs, while foreign invaders grew stronger. But Sanga? He saw what others didn't. If India didn't unite, it would fall forever. And so, he did the impossible. He united the clans, Mewar, Marwar, Amber, Gwalior, even Afghan chiefs stood by him. No other Rajput king had ever united so many before. Then came the Battle of Katoli. Ibrahim Lodhi, the last Sultan of Delhi, incompetent but desperate to hold on to power, stood against Rana Sanga. And the result? A crushing defeat for Lodhi. But victory came at a price. Sanga lost an eye, his one arm was severed. His body was filled with over 80 wounds. But did he stop? No. He tied his wounds and raised his sword with the other hand. Lodhi attacked 18 more times, but each time he faced humiliation. Sanga took Dholpur, then Gwalior, then Bayana. Even Malwa's mighty sultan fell before his might. And then, he had a chance to take Delhi, to rule Hindustan. But one mistake. He refused. He believed in Rajput unity, but at what cost? He freed common people from the jizya tax, a tax only to be paid by non-Muslims if they didn't convert to Islam. People celebrated him as a savior. But fate had other plans, because in the far north, another storm was brewing. Babur, a descendant of Timur, a warrior from the mountains of Central Asia. It is well documented in history that royal uncle, Alam Khan Lodhi, and Punjab's governor, Daulat Khan Lodhi, invited Babur to overthrow Ibrahim, hoping to have the throne for themselves. There is no mention in any contemporary history by any historian that Rana Sanga invited Babur. This is pure fabrication by a few modern historians to glorify the invaders. Ah, that is our fate. Invaders get glorified and the victims get all the blame. But let's come back to our story. Babur crushed Ibrahim Lodhi at Panipat, and now, his eyes were set on Hindustan. He knew India was divided, its rulers fought each other, and if he played his cards right, he could take it all. But there was one man who stood in his way, Rana Sanga. Sanga saw what others ignored. If Babur was not stopped now, India's fate would be sealed for centuries. Before facing Babur, Sanga had a plan. Cut off his support. First target, Bayana. Babur's commander, Nizam Khan, was trapped. Rajputs struck like lightning. His entire army wiped out. And then, fear spread through Babur's ranks. His soldiers refused to fight. And Babur? He drowned his fears in alcohol. Wait, Babur? A drunkard? Oh yes. Babur was known for his love of wine. But Babur knew. To hold on to his army's lost faith, he had to do something. So, he declared the war a jihad, a holy struggle, not just for land, but for faith. No more wine. And suddenly the army that wanted to flee was ready to fight again, but Babur didn't stop there. He needed full support. So he made another bold move. He abolished the Tamga tax on Muslim traders. Why? Simple. Money controls war. With merchants on his side, he secured weapons, food, and gold. Now his army was ready for battle. On the other side, Sanga rallied his forces, 80,000 warriors. This was it, the final stand. The Rajputs fought like lions. But Babur was no ordinary enemy. He introduced Tulugma tactics, swift-moving flanks, a strategy never seen before in India. And then, cannons roared. a brand new weapon. Despite the chaos, the Rajputs did not falter. They adapted. They charged in waves, closing the gaps between Babur's artillery lines, engaging in fierce hand-to-hand combat. The Mughals, for a moment, were overwhelmed by the sheer bravery of the Rajputs. Sanga's men even reached Babur's cannon positions, cutting down gunners and disrupting the Mughal firepower. The tide was shifting. And then, the unthinkable happened. Betrayal. Sanga's Afghan allies switched sides. Mahmud Lodhi, brother of Ibrahim Lodhi, had joined forces with Rana Sanga. He brought several Afghan chieftains. Sila-ud-Din was another Rajput chieftain of Raisen, modern-day Madhya Pradesh. But Babur used bribes to lure them away. 30,000 soldiers betrayed the Rajputs. The Rajput morale crumbled. Warriors who had fought fearlessly moments ago now saw their own allies turning against them. Babur's cannons now resumed their deadly fire. The once unstoppable Sanga was now betrayed. Over 80 wounds, lost one eye, one arm, and was crippled in one leg. But unbroken, even Babur himself admitted in Baburnama, Rana Sanga was the greatest threat he had ever faced. Sanga retreated, not in defeat, but to rise again. Plans were made. Rajputana would fight once more. But before he could strike back, he was poisoned. Killed not by an enemy's sword, but by his own people. And now some seek to rewrite history, to glorify Babur, to paint him as a great ruler, while diminishing the legacy of Rana Sanga, all to serve political agendas, to twist the past for present gains. And this is India's story. Again and again, Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Gauri, yet was betrayed. The Marathas crushed the Mughals, yet were divided. The British came, not with armies, but with bribes. And India fell. Ask yourself, what would India be today if it had stood united? The lesson of history is clear. The greatest enemy is not the one outside, but the traitor within. Rana Sanga's story is the story of unyielding courage, of standing tall even when the odds are against you,